This is A-Game, fast-acting, long-lasting, with no side effects.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what we're talking about today is nobody wants to end up like Black women. Maybe some of the younger women are waking up. Maybe I'm hoping that they are. I'm going to show a little clip of a young lady saying exactly that. So what we're going to do is let me share my screen. Excuse me, you guys. Let me share my screen and let you take a listen. Here we go.
Just letting from my own experiences. I'm looking at all the bitter old women whose life I don't want to end up like, and taking vigorous notes on where not to end up. All them women that's very smart and got their own money and don't need no man and don't got no man at 32, noted. All them women that got 3 kids, 2 baby daddies, their baby daddy don't want them and they still don't got no man, noted. All of the women that claim that they're happy and that they're 40, almost turning 50, never had a husband, never been married, never wanted kids, never want to do none of that, but they sitting at home with their cat on TikTok at 40, noted.
Oh, they're gonna hate her.
I don't want to live y'all life, so I'm not taking advice from you, but trust and believe I'm analyzing that lifestyle to figure out how to not end up like that.
Sheesh.
So I got a solid, I'm about to turn 24. So I got a solid year to still off and be okay. I promise you, I've thought it.
I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. She's right. She's absolutely right to do what she's doing. Let me further what she's talking about. Because she mentioned the baby daddies, a bunch of babies and baby daddies, and the men still don't want you after you've done that. She mentioned the 40 plus still on TikTok with no men. She mentioned the successful, smart career, no man. She mentioned having money, this and that, no man. All of these different variations of Black women and their lives, and still ending up in these bitter, miserable situations. She's talking about, she's taking vigorous notes about it, okay? Because everybody sees you, Black woman. I don't know why you think you've been operating in a vacuum, but everybody sees how you live. And people on the outside looking in don't see this as a good life overall, in terms of the culture that Black women put forward as to say, this is how they're supposed to be women. And this is what life is supposed to be like. Not needing men and going through life and doing all this other foolishness that y'all do. And then you end up in your 30s and 40s, so on and so on, like the Tracy Ellis Rosses of the world, like the Rochelle Carys of the world, like the Lala Anthonys of the world, like the Amber Roses of the world. You end up like these women who had all this fun front loaded into their young life, only to end up bitter and alone and mad at the world. You know, the Brittany Renners mad at the world because of the decisions that they made. And now they've either already hit the wall or it's right in front of them. And now they, you know what I'm saying? Now they're angry and blaming everybody else and blaming everything else, blaming the culture, blaming anybody, blaming the men, blaming anybody for except themselves and all of the choices that they made, as if they were, you know, just passengers in their own lives and not having any choice or control or option to do or do a lot of the things that they do. The only mistake that she made was at the end when she talked about having that 1 year to screw off because she's 24, heading into 25. Major mistake, young lady. And all of the young ladies that are listening, that is a mistake. See, your mistake is thinking that you got time that you don't got. While 24 is still young, it's not immortal. You'll be 28 before you know it, okay? Here's the problem. You cannot misjudge or overestimate the value of your youth. That is valuable. It's nice. Men like it, but you can ruin that. Just being in your 20s is not enough. See, it's a lot that can happen in that year. It's a lot of babies that can be had. Well, one baby in a year, but you understand. You can become a single mother in that year. It's a lot of bodies to rack up in a year. A year, depending on how reckless and promiscuous you are, you can rack up a lot of bodies in a year. Lots of bodies. Lots of bodies. You can do that. See, and the misjudging of time, oh, I got time to do stuff. That's actually one of the number one traps that got those women that she's trying to avoid being like. That was one of the number one traps that got them there. The misjudging of their time. I'm young, so I can play. I'm young, so I can do this and that. I'm young, so I can party. I'm young, so I can be promiscuous. I'm young, so I can ride the carousel. That's the exact gateway that led them to where they are, young lady. Young is actually not the time to play. That's the time to be serious. See, at 24, you should be looking for a husband. Because the best lionesses get scooped up early in their 20s. They be in their 20s. 9 times out of 10, unless there's some other circumstances going on, lionesses are usually gotten together in their 20s. Okay, there are some exceptions to that, but typically speaking, lionesses are scooped up early. Okay, every lioness I know, including myself, when they first got married early. Early 20s, early to mid 20s, it is what it is. Some 18 or 19. Okay? So the misjudging of time, oh, I got time to play. Because see, the carousel actually damages you. And it does more than add bodies to the count. It actually sets you up to view men, yourself, and sex and relationships within the transaction only. The longer you ride the carousel, the more you end up in that transactional space with hot girl summers and whole phases and twerking and all this other stuff. And I'm not accusing that young lady of doing all this stuff, but I'm saying as a message to any other young lady thinking like this, you're on the right track. You started in the right place, but let Auntie Crimson guide you a little more. That carousel that you think you can ride in your 20s is actually what screws you over in your 30s. You understand? Your 30s don't happen in a vacuum, neither do your 20s. The reason why a lot of women are single in their 30s or single mothers in their 30s or not being able to really have solidified healthy relationships and commitments and marriages in their 30s is because all the crap they did in their 20s. That's how they got there. So misjudging your time and thinking you can play and do all this other stuff because you're 23, 24, you know what I'm saying, about to be 25, whatever the case may be, that actually lowers your value. Men are watching, and men can pick that up most of the time. It's not foolproof, but men can pick up that transactional mindset depending on how you come at them, especially as it pertains to a relationship or pertains to how you come at them sexually. Men can read that. They can pick up on that. So the longer you're dealing in the carousel is the more you're going to see that transactionally, and then you're going to behave transactionally with them. Then they'll assume you're for the streets. Doesn't matter if you're still young. You understand? The other thing is you want to take all the notes, not just a few. Let me help her with the examination of the lifestyle of these women that got them where they are, right? We talked about carousel riding. You actually don't have a year to play. Take notes about the general attitude that the women that you don't want to be like have towards men and have towards not only men, but the general attitude that they have towards their own femininity. See, the reason why they got into that space is because they didn't need a man. But where does that come from? What is that? How does that manifest itself? By being obstinate, by being uncooperative with men, by not being feminine with them, by being masculine and competitive with them. That is how, being domineering with them, trying to make men bend to your will and what you got going on, rather than you modify and bend to their vision, their system, order, and structure, and what they got going on. That is one of the other main reasons. They're single because they refuse to look after the man's needs in a relationship. They refuse to make sure that he was respected. They refuse to make sure that he was honored. They refused to make sure that he was loved and at peace within that relationship with them. See, they wasn't concerned about none of that stuff. They was only concerned about what they could get out of the relationship and how the relationship made them feel or not feel. And they didn't really care about whether or not he was at peace or content or felt respected or felt honored or felt loved or felt any of that type of stuff or felt supported or none of that type of stuff. It's these women that decided that men did not need reciprocal energy when men would come to give them provision, problem solving, protection, and procreation. These women decided that a man's provision did not need their insight and the support of their insight, that a man's problem solving didn't need them to be able to keep that nest in some type of order, that a man's protection was not counterbalanced by a woman's beauty, both her inner and her outer beauty. That a man's procreation was not inspired by her fertility and how she handles her reproductive rights, her organs, and her fertility, both biologically and culturally. You understand what I'm saying? These women did not look out for the men. What they did was they made and maintained too much chaos, trouble, and drama in the relationship that eventually ran these men away from them or drove these men away from them, thus keeping them in the perpetual cycle of singleness and then going back out to the carousel and then trying to get the attention of men and then trying to settle down in a relationship, but then not really knowing how to settle in that relationship because she's way too transactional. She doesn't like the order that men bring. She doesn't like the system, order, and structure. She doesn't like the logic. She doesn't like the restrictions. She feels like he's controlling her, all of this other stuff. And then they go away from that man and then it's all crazy. It's all crazy. They keep themselves single and then they keep each other single right along with it because they reinforce the lies about how it's always the men's fault and it's never nothing that they're doing. Or it's never anything that they're not doing. It's usually what they're not doing. Not taking care of their men, because in Black female culture, you don't take care of men on any level, not emotionally, not intellectually, not physically, not sexually, nothing. You don't stimulate him inside or out. No spiritual support, nothing. Everything is used to punish him somehow, or it's got to be used as leverage on him somehow. Somehow it's got to be able to be weaponized so that if he gets out of line with you and do things that you don't want him to do, then you'll be able to use it as a whipping stick. See, you got to watch out for that too, young lady. Watch out for that type of mindset. Not wanting to be feminine, not wanting to take care of a man's needs, but wanting your needs met all the time. Want him to go over and above and beyond to take care of not only all of your needs, but all of your wants and desires and whims as well. Doesn't work like that. Reciprocal energy. That's the phrase of the day. Reciprocal energy. You don't want to be bitter on TikTok with your cat. Have reciprocal energy. Respect him as he loves you. You understand? Hopefully you do. Another thing I want you to understand is that you can jump down into the description box and hit the link for crimsoncure.com to pick up your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine. We are getting the books Tomorrow, mañana, that is January 28th of 2023, we'll be getting the first shipment of these books and begin to fulfill orders ASAP, okay? So that you guys can start getting this book in your hands as early as next week, okay? People are going to begin to get their books in their hands. And I'm very happy to be able to do that. So definitely go into the description box, hit the link at crimsoncure.com and pick up your copy. Also, jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey, guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.